This is a Studio 5 special presentation. We're shining a light on amazing entertainers, and they're sharing their lives for you to see how God is in your story.
And welcome to this special edition of Studio 5. In the next half hour, we're sharing incredible stories from incredible guests. Recording artist Dante Bowe, rock band leader David Zach, filmmaker Phil Stevens, and singer Katie Nicole. These creatives are living proof God is faithful and He is in your life story. No matter how hard it is, how long it's taking, or what people think, God has the final say and the final word. We want to begin with Dante Bowe. He's a Grammy Award-winning multi-platinum singer and songwriter who now has his own record label. It comes after his unceremonious split from the group he helped to create, Maverick City Music. After making history as the first artist to have simultaneous Grammy nominations in both the gospel and Christian genres. After a pause, Dante Bowe is ready to take a bow and press play.
Woke up to the summer, shining through, calling on my friends, asking what's the move.
How are you? Let's begin there.
Hi, I'm good, I'm good.
I ain't gonna let no clouds get in my way. The only road I'm walking is the one I pick.
I mean, it's been an incredible journey the last few months. So I feel healthier than ever, better than ever, brighter than ever. Feel closer to God. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna wait on you. I'm gonna wait on you.
I think we all woke up surprised when Maverick City announces they're pausing their relationship with you.
I'm gonna wait on you. I've tasted your goodness.
What were you thinking when that was announced?
That's a good question.
Well, you've always been true, so I'm gonna wait on you. Yeah.
God's gonna use people and things to catapult you into your next step. And so I don't think it was like something that shouldn't have happened. I think it should have happened because now I have this incredible team. I've rebuilt, my infrastructure with the most incredible people and the most incredible producer, John, who's helped me release, Hide Me and this entire album, Press Play. And I don't think that would have happened if, just certain things didn't occur. The trials are not in vain. Nothing is wasted. Nothing's in vain.
The right, the wrongs, the in-betweens. Help me know for sure things do get better.
For someone like you, I know you've endured so much, from family loss, abuse, homelessness. I don't know if you can even compare the trying times. Were you going through and looking back at that? What was happening?
God oftentimes prepares us for the journey, and I feel like everything I've gone through and everything I'm going through is it's important. It's very, very relevant to my destiny and my future and my purpose. In those dark seasons is when you really see the light and when you really get revelation and new vision and new strategy and new approaches to life. So I think, it's just a part of growth.
Under your shadow, under your wing, hide me, cover me.
Pause, press play. The first single from that is Hide Me.
Hide Me.
Released in Times Square.
Yes, can you believe that?
Good Morning America.
That's right. He is back now. He's going to debut his new song, Hide Me.
Under your shadow.
How did all of that come about in that song? What gave birth to it?
Yeah, me and my producer, John Webb, who I call my angel, because in that dark season, John was knocking on my door because I wasn't answering any phone calls, right? And he was knocking on my door, and he came in and we just talking, and he's like, let's go up to the studio. And so we immediately started recording. Didn't know an album would come out of it, but that's the plan of God, it's like God's plan, It's not our will, His will. It was just natural. John started playing that beat, and the first thing I thought of was, I'm under the shadow of the Almighty, I'm under His wing, and there is safety there. And I think this entire season has been me under the shadow of the Almighty. I felt so hidden, so protected, and close to Him. And I think a lot of people would think I felt, a little, down or out or, depressed even maybe. But I really felt very protected by the Lord in this season of my life.
What do you think it was that allowed you to feel that way? So protected in that time?
I don't necessarily know. I just feel like I never shut the door on God. I kept the door wide open because I need him more in those seasons than even I need him, you know, when I'm just on the mountaintop, you know what I mean? I always need him, but I just think I ran to him, you know, faster. You know, I wanted more of Jesus when I went through that, you know what I mean? And I think that's the point of it all. Sometimes, you know, those things happen so we can draw near, right? And so I felt very, very close to him in that season. And also just the team he put around me, I felt so blessed. My friends were with me the entire time. I mean, it was really a fabulous time. Like, I felt really, really blessed. And how can you not run to him after, you know, feeling so overwhelmed by his presence and his blessings?
You're my everything.
How does it feel to be standing? I know you've got a team, to be standing alone. So you look to your right now, you look to your left. There's no Maverick City, there's no Bethel Music. It's Dante.
Yeah, you know, it feels really, really good. I love Maverick and I love Bethel Music. I mean, they've done so much for me and we're still friends to this day. I've always had support, but I just think, you know, different things are necessary for the next journey. It is God's plan, and we're trying to do it right.
Dante won his very first Dove Award for one of his last solo singles, Joyful, and he is the first artist to have his song chart on both Billboard's Gospel Airplay and Christian Song charts. His new and personal label is called True Music, and his new project is called Press Play.
Still to come.
We use our concerts and our albums to shine a light on slavery.
A rock band leader on the front lines of the fight against human trafficking. His story is next in this special edition of Studio 5.
I want to discuss with you 3 important questions, the answers to which will determine the course of your life. Where do you come from? Who are you? Where are you going?
Divine Direction, God's blueprint for your future. The latest audio teaching from Gordon Robertson.
What does it really mean to be a child of God? What does it really mean that I'm going to God?
Divine Direction. Get your copy today.
The international outreach of CBN is simply amazing.
I think CBN ends up touching many of the areas of the world that you as an individual cannot touch.
It allows me to be a part of such an amazing body of Christ.
I mean, this thrilled us. We love to give.
It's a blessing to be able to be a part of this, to be able to speak about an amazing community that CBN is.
And welcome back to this special edition of Studio 5. The pages of your life story are being written as we speak. God's hand is at work, no matter how dark it may seem. He brings light. David Zach is living proof. The founder and lead vocalist of the rock band Remedy Drive has been on the front lines of the fight against human trafficking for a decade.
I've been given this front row seat to the modern day abolition movement. And it's been the privilege of my life to watch ordinary people step into extraordinary roles in the arena of freedom and justice and mercy.
How does your life put you then on the front lines of the fight against human trafficking?
Like 08, 09, and even earlier than that, I started writing some lyric having to do with boy soldiers, but it came to a head in 2012 when my daughter and I watched a documentary about slavery, about child soldiers and exploitation, and she says, "Dad, why not God protect those boys?" And for me, that was when I said, I can't go on writing music and living my life in such a way that doesn't take this particular tragedy seriously. So it started with me just writing songs, hoping that my songs would contribute to a difference. Matt Parker, who founded the Exodus Road with his wife Laura, was a fan of our band.
We merged our rock and roll band with a counter-trafficking organization called the Exodus Road. We use our concerts and our albums to shine a light on slavery.
And so Matt knew who I was, sang my songs in the car while he was driving. And he came to town looking for an artist to talk about the work of the Exodus Road, the counter-trafficking work of the Exodus Road. So in the middle of me writing this, watching all these documentaries about work like the work that he's doing, he's coming to Nashville looking for a band and set up a bunch of meetings. I was the only one that didn't cancel. And then he started talking about the work, spying on traffickers, using hidden cameras and cyber forensic software to find evidence of what they're doing. And I kind of sheepishly asked, hey, what do you think if I came along and just to see? So that's how it started for me. I got to kind of shadow him on a trip, meet some of the team, and start doing undercover work, you know, just surface level stuff on that first trip. And it just turned into what it is now.
What do you remember most about that first trip?
I'd never been face to face with poverty like I was that first time in Southeast Asia. And the desperation that surrounds poverty, like I'd never seen it. And because I'd done all this research about sex trafficking, about slavery, leading up to that, I felt like I was going to be able to handle it, but it shook me to the core.
Wow.
Like to see hundreds and hundreds of women being sold and teenage girls in clubs, but then on the side of the road, and it doesn't look like what you think it would look like. Just that desperation, it impacted me deeply, and the sense of helplessness, like this is too big of a scale, this one city alone. Can I really do anything? I left feeling too small, too inadequate.
How do you keep from getting overwhelmed in light of the difficulty of what it is you do?
I think I do get overwhelmed. I'm trying to find that line, you know? Like, I don't think there's true fulfillment or true joy in this life without intentionally aligning ourselves with somebody else's sorrow. Like, that's what it means to be like Jesus Christ from Nazareth.
Yeah.
But it's so overwhelming. I've never wanted what's wrong to be made right so desperately. I hear people say we're the body of Christ, so let's act like it. Let's be the hand and feet, you know?
What do you think we in our comfortable world, what do we not know?
I don't think we know, one, what kind of desperate situation will put someone in a situation where they have to hope that the agency that's taking their kid from the hill country down to the major city, that's a legitimate agency that's going to employ them at a hotel or a restaurant. You know, it's a desperate move. The kids are 15. My girl's 15 now, so when I started this work, she was 5. Why can a whole culture look the other way when this is obviously happening in broad daylight? But I also think, and this is hopeful, I think we don't know what kind of change we can make as one person, as one interview with you, one platform with CBN, one rock and roll band. The ripples that you and I can create turn to tidal waves, and I believe that with all my heart. And so we're celebrating coming up on 1,000 traffickers that we participated in arresting, and coming up on 2,000 people whose freedom we've participated in impacting. And there's a temptation to be like, it's not that much. But I want to be like the kid on the hillside. Everybody said, man, no, Jesus doesn't need your lunch. He's like, but I got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And that's what I have. And that's what anybody watching has. They have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And put that out there and see what happens. And in that situation, Jesus lifted it up above his head and blessed it. And 10,000 people were fed, you know?
Zach has worked undercover alongside operatives from the Exodus Road to identify perpetrators and fight slavery in Southeast Asia and Latin America. And here at home, he's used his music platform to speak out at colleges and festivals across the country.
Just moments away.
God said, I know you've been patiently waiting to hear from me. I've been stirring in you this desire to write and direct narrative films only. It's more than that.
He's the $25 million movie man. His miracle story is coming up next.
Your news channel, your shows, the stories you care about. Anytime you want, anywhere you want. Download the CBN News app today. Changing lives is now easier than ever with Text to Join. Text CBN to 71777 and tap on the secure link to transform a life. You'll feed the hungry, heal the sick, bring water to the thirsty, hope to the hopeless, and so much more. It only takes a moment to make a huge difference in someone's life. Text CBN to 71777 and change the world right from where you are.
Welcome back to this special edition of Studio 5. I like to call our next guest the $25 million movie man. Phil Stevens' story takes him on a journey from IT to filmmaking, and it comes with a word from the Lord. Start a production company, and I'll fund it. And fund it he did, with $25 million and counting, and that's just to get started. Atlanta has earned quite a few nicknames: the Big Peach, the Big A, A-Town, Dogwood City, and even New York of the South.
They don't like when you call it mini LA, but it's getting that way. A lot of people are coming to Atlanta to make content.
That isn't what lured Phil Stevens from New Jersey to Georgia so many years ago, but it is how he spends his time now more than ever.
So would I be correct in saying you started out in engineering professionally?
IT.
IT,
yeah.
How does the IT guy become a film director?
I went to a church in Atlanta, and I got on the actors team, and I loved it. I either wanted to be in the videos or make videos. I actually started this like iCarly type thing that wasn't good at all. It was bad. It was really bad. The lighting was bad, but everybody loved it. And I remember God speaking to me in a meeting, because I was in meetings all day long at this Fortune 500 company, and he said, "What are you doing with what I gave you?" I remember getting up out of the meeting, going to the stairwell and weeping. And I went home to tell my wife, "Hey, I think I need to chase this creative thing."
I've already paged her.
Well, can you page her again before you get back to Farmville?
Wow, what a charmer. I can see why she rushes out to meet you.
So do you then immediately launch into filmmaking? What happens?
I started working for a buddy of mine who had Home Depot as main client. It was a third-party testing type company like UL. And I started doing some software development for him and some video and photography. And they had seen some of the testing footage that I had done. It was bad. But they were like, "Hey, can your boy do a couple promos for our new Husky pliers?" And he was like, "Yeah, no problem." And I did it. They loved it. They put more projects on our plate.
Other big brands followed, along with big cinematic ideas.
You want to question me in front of others? No! I am God here! I won't question you. And I most assuredly am better than the devil.
What was your production firm called?
Bedhead Media.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't have any hair. So
I know that feels like.
Yes. So people love that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're working and doing well with Bedhead Media and working in your church. And what happens?
I was sitting in a service after we shot out in LA this Wise Man thing for Christmas. I was sitting in a service in January last year, and God said, "I know you've been patiently waiting to hear from me, and I've been stirring in you this desire to write and direct narrative films only. It's more than that. You're going to start a faith-based film production company, and I'm going to fund it. And you need to just go." And I remember just shaking in my soul and wanting to tell my wife, who was wondering why I was fidgeting so much. And a guy came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Hey, are you going to be around after service?" And finally, after service, I get to talk to him, and he says, "Hey, I know I don't know you, but God's been stirring in me to talk to you for 2 weeks, and I've been ignoring it because I'm scared." But he said, "You're going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with the Tyler Perrys of Atlanta. They're going to wonder why you're there, but God's not going to wonder." And he said, "I don't know what to do with this, but whatever he told you to do, you need to go do." And this was like 10 minutes after God just talked to me.
Wow.
He said, "Don't be afraid." And God said, "You cannot fail. You cannot fail." And I'm like weeping in front of this dude. It's like ugly. My face is swelling up. It's just not pretty. And sure enough, not too long after that, we had a few investors kind of reach out, and they were excited about being part of it. Apparently people want to give their some of their funds to faith-based films. They enjoy it. And then we had one big investor that was just like, "Listen, I want to fill the rest of your slate. and we raised $25 million. $25 million, undeservingly so, to just make a slate of film and TV projects.
That $25 million investment arrived 5 months after God gave Phil the vision for Atlanta's newest production company. And veteran filmmaker Autumn Bailey Ford has signed on to lead its very first project.
The name of your production company is?
Missio Dei. It means the mission of God, so we can stay on mission. I don't want to get all this money and make a Marvel film. I mean, I do, but we need to stay on mission with God and be obedient to what God told me to do.
Phil's heart is to create unique and original content that points audiences to the God who is writing his story. Just moments away.
I wanted to remind people that through the broken places in their story, God is turning that into beauty.
You know her for In Jesus' Name. She's going to show you how God is in your story.
Where did I come from? Who am I? Where am I going?
These questions determine the course of your life.
CBN presents Divine Direction, God's blueprint for your future. In this original audio teaching, Gordon Robertson tackles these vital questions.
And the answers can remake your image of yourself.
Start your new year with an encouraging message about God's plan for you. Download the CBN News app. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Get the CBN News app today.
Welcome back to this Studio 5 special report. No one can forget Katie Nicole's hit single In Jesus' Name, thanks to a little help from TikTok. Her personal story takes her from bedridden in pain to breakout music success. And she is the first to share who holds the pen when it comes to writing her story.
There's torn up pages in this book, words that tell me I'm no good, chapters that define me for so long. But the hands of grace and endless love dusted off and picked me up, told my heart that hope is never gone. God is in this story.
God is in this story.
He sure is.
Even in the broken parts, he holds my heart, he never fails.
I mean, that song, that was a pretty dark season of my life.
Always in the highs and lows, the one who goes before me.
Just again, kind of struggling with depression. You know, it's something that comes in waves. It's something that we're all on a healing journey with. I don't know a single person who hasn't at least struggled with it once in their life. You know, we all go through grief, loss, suffering, pain. There's so much of that in this world. But the thing is that I wanted to remind people that through the broken places in their story, God is turning that into beauty. There are beautiful things happening because you go out and you get to tell this story. It's the good news. You are the vessel that carries the good news. And through your story, people can see the goodness of God. They can see how He can do it for me, He can do it for you. That is a truth that I will stand on for the rest of my life. And I mean, I know how hard it is to go out and share your story. I know how scary that can be. And I just want people to have the courage, have the strength that God gave them to go out and share what He can do.
God is in this story.
I need to tell people how grateful I am. I need to tell people how thankful I am that Jesus is in this with me, and He is just creating beautiful things through a very broken story. It was once very broken, and now it's just becoming beautiful as it's being written. And I'm so grateful for that, and I just wanted to say that because He can do amazing things.
You are the vessel who carries the good news, and through your story, people can see the goodness of God. Here's the bottom line. God is faithful, and He is in your life story. Special thanks to all of our guests for this special edition of Studio 5, and thank you for watching. We hope you'll join us on Studio 5 every week for our weekly show, our podcast, and our show Studio 5 Uncut. Until then, make time to uplift someone around you. Be the answer to someone's prayer, and then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching.